This final semester of seminary, I've been taking an online evangelism course, and I've had an odd connection that I'd like to make for all of you. Given the evangelism course, I've been looking for connections to evangelism throughout my daily life. For those of you who use Reddit.com, you may be familiar with their annual tradition of imposing a social experiment on April Fool's Day. One year it was the button, another was a chat room experience. This year, the art experiment, Our Place. For those of you who have no idea what Reddit is, it's an open input discussion website made up of millions of users that has branded itself the front page of the internet. And these April Fool's activities are typically social experiments to test such a large-scale group of internet users. This past April Fool's, their social experiment was Our Place, which was a subreddit with a blank 999 by 999 pixel canvas. Each pixel could be changed to one of 16 different colors every 5 minutes in hopes that the canvas would be transformed by the users one pixel at a time. The page states simply this: there's an empty canvas, you may place a tile upon it, but you must wait to place another. Individually, you can create something. Together, you can create something more. Which I think is incredibly related to evangelism, or really any movement in the world. What ensued was a fascinating 72-hour evolving canvas. School logos, brand logos, national flags, cartoons, and reproducible patterns were among the images to show up in this time span. Van Gogh's Starry Night and Da Vinci's Mona Lisa also made appearances on the canvas. But what I want to focus on and connect to evangelism is the blue corner found in the lower right-hand corner. During the early stages of Our Place, when it was mostly a blank canvas, the blue corner started to take over everything in the bottom right-hand corner. As this canvas became more popularized, people started to build in the corner, but the corner would start to attack back. Eventually, enough people were attempting to build in the bottom corner that the blue could not maintain itself, so it made agreements with the various art projects to serve as the background. That way, they would have a consistent background and not just a jumbling mess of pixels. And in these trades, the logos would protect the blue background, and the blue would protect the logos. It was a group effort of complementary projects. This short-lived illustration reminds me of something that I have been studying since I was preparing to take a cross-cultural course in Chiapas, Mexico. In our preparation, we were assigned the book called A Short Account of the Destruction of the Indies. And to make a short account even shorter, this book detailed the church-sanctioned conquistadors of Latin America. This was a broad, sweeping approach at removing anyone that could not conform to the ideal of Christianity. And it not only neglected the radical gospel of Jesus, it's literally murdering people. However, once Catholic leadership such as Bartolomé de las Casas began to learn about the experience of the natives and the atrocity that they were experiencing, some started to fight for their rights out of their own Christian understanding. Granted, he still capitalized on the natives and the cheap labor that he could get from them, but he was one step to humanizing the natives and seeing evangelism as relational. In more recent history, Samuel Ruiz was appointed Bishop of Chiapas in 1959. He was known as Tatki in the indigenous language of Tzotzil, or Caminante in Spanish, and Walker in English. The people of Chiapas recognized his effort to work alongside with, and even live into the oppression in his ministry. He did not aim to condemn non-Christians, but evangelized in complementary ways, which birthed some interreligious spiritual experiences in the region. Liberation theology, particularly in Latin America, is an effort not only to humanize non-Europeans, but to see that the gospel of Christ needs to be lived before it can be shared. Over the course of 72 hours, Our Place revealed fascinating ways in which humans interact, but it also revealed something we've already experienced in our lifetime. Aggressive evangelism will only be met by aggression, whereas complementary evangelism helps us realize the good news that already exists in our lives. Though Our Place did not risk lives quite in the way that the genocide from the conquistadors did, it is an artistic illustration of the harm and the failure that broad sweeping and condemning evangelism can do. It revealed to us that ministry alongside the oppressed can birth a beautiful piece of living art that reveals complementary living. Evangelism, based on relationship and situated for all to grow together, is not only an effective means of evangelism, but it's also a way of living into the gospel. Acknowledging every experience and capacity to experience the gospel is at the core of Jesus' ministry. Thank you for listening.